Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Supernova stream. We got day 2 of Risen Champions in the summer split. I am Grapes, joined here by Random Minion Caster, the notorious RMC. How are you doing today?
Why is everybody calling me notorious? What have I done recently? I'm just an innocent random minion, but you know what? Hey, maybe after tonight, if I spit some flames, I might actually deserve that title.
I mean, we'll see if that. I feel like flames are always being spit out of your mouth, man. But either way, back here in Risen, day 2, we got Dignatas Mirage going up against Supernova. And this is an exciting matchup. And the way that the group has been structured and the way that the first day played out makes this matchup a whole lot more interesting than what we were expecting.
Right off the bat, when they did the group draws, Division 3 was already one of the divisions which people were saying might be a little bit more complicated, might be a little harder here because Supernova and Dignitas Mirage, the two teams that came through the OQs, they're strong teams. They are teams that have been around the scene for a long time here. And as you mentioned, Grapes, last night, Digmig finding the win over AoE Esports, who some would consider the favorites of the group. That's shaken everything up. Supernova now within spitting distance of, what should have been first seed. AoE randoms, Dig Mig, they're ahead of the pack right now.
Yeah, and Supernova, after taking that loss to AoE randoms in the matchup yesterday, are now in a really tough situation. It's win or go home, essentially, as a loss to Dignitas Mirage would make it nearly impossible to get out of this group in one piece. And so RMC, as we examine this game just a little bit further, there's just so much to look forward to, but I think a lot of the history, as you said before, is really interesting to me in particular. Dignitas Mirage and Supernova have a bit of history, especially dating back to last split, where in the last matchup to qualify into Proving Grounds for that 16 spot, it was these two teams coming out, and Dignitas Mirage took it 3-1.
I mean, that's almost ancient history here. Esports goes fast. And speaking of
Yep.
going fast, draft has started here, Grape. So we should probably head right into it because I'm expecting some spicy things in the draft here. Both these teams have some interesting pocket picks, things like the Darius for Dragoon, the Rise for Strumpist here.
Yeah, we already, as you said, right off the bat, Viego, Akali, and Karma all taken off of the board. Viego and Akali, champions that I am particularly surprised to see banned on the blue side and with the Gwen as well. Not exactly what I was expecting. And Karma Seraphine on the other side, going to be targeting DNA, who does play a lot of these enchanters. But with all these power picks banned on the blue side, it's interesting to see what kind of things are happening here. There's 3 enchanters in a row for Supernova as well.
So this is a best of 3, and I like what we're seeing here because we talked about Darius for Dragoon, we talked about Rise for Strumpist. Both of them are on the table. Granted, the Rise usually comes in as a phase 2 ban, but because Supernova is red side, they can sneak an R3 in with that Rise and ban away some of the harder matchups for it here. Based on what we do have left on the table here, I wouldn't be surprised to see an Ezreal pick up. Both the AD carries here, Kao and Lynx, have been very, very good on that pick.
Well, it's actually going to be that set lock in. Can be flexed. DNA and Dragoon both do play this champion. And in terms of that, a lot of these other special champions for Dig are also available. Not to mention just the Cow Ezreal. We also have Kha'Zix for Cyber and the potential Darius still to lock in for Dragoon. Supernova are going to hover this Nocturne, which is not a champion that we have seen them play too much. And it's an interesting change in the champion pools that they're decided to bring out, going onto this red side as well. And with the Ezreal hover, would not be surprised to see that picked up as well.
As expected there. Now, there is also other sort of pocket picks here. Digmig is full of them. There's Kha'Zix for Cyber. There is Nico for DNA. I know he used to be a bit of a Syndra aficionado as well here. They are hovering the Kindred potentially, and that would mess up a Nocturne, regardless of where that Nocturne goes. You turn off the lights, you go Paranoia. Well, Kindred, they just huddle up, and if you actually do dive in, they just press R, and suddenly you're alone in the midst of them, a lamb among the wolves, if you will.
That Kindred lock going towards Cyber, has played it a couple times so far in the open qualifiers that were just happening here for Dignitas Mirage, and it has been so far a lot of the top side focus here for Dig, and that's kind of the playstyle that they like to go for. Dragoon being one of these strong side top laners who likes to pick up a lot of income, and now that we get this Kalista here for Cow, it allows them to be strong in the lanes as well.
Love this combo here, Grapes. The Kindred Callista combo. You turn on that Lamb's Respite there, and then you just start stacking the spears. As soon as it wears off, you rend, and then targets get absolutely melted. Supernova, however, not even going to give them that opportunity. We're not even going to sit among you. Ezreal Yumi, this annoying, deadly combo. And who better than Papa Chow, also known as Prosperous Cat, to pick up that kitty?
Cat going over to the cat here. And Ezreal Yumi, obviously one of the strongest bot lane combos that we see in the game right now. And Chow has been playing a lot more of these enchanters in the recent games as we are headed into the second phase of bans. Still knowing, still a lot of focus towards the supportive champions for Supernova. The Thresh gonna get taken away from Light Pulse, one of his most played champions. And now it's just really interesting to see what the rest of this draft unfolds because there's still a lot of flex potential for both of these teams with that set Nocturne.
With that Yumi as well, I would be a little surprised not to see the Hecarim ban come out from Digmig. Maddie's champion pool has been slightly unorthodox. We've not seen the likes of the Rumble, of the Diana, even the Xin Zhao quite as much here, but we have seen Hecarim. And Hecarim Yumi is a combination that is, to me at least, more annoying than an Ezreal Yumi here. And yeah, sure, Ezreal Yumi strong, but if you give Yumi multiple targets she can hop back and forth onto, it's going to be so busted here. They're hovering it. I hope they're not teasing me because if they let that through, that's going to be like,
Called it once again, going that Hecarim taken away. But another champion that does work well in the jungle with these enchanters by its side is that Jin Zhao. So Maddie will be picking that up. It is one of the first times that we have seen him on this new champion in the meta. So we'll be super excited to see how some of these playstyle differentials for Supernova have started to unfold as they're now in a bit of a do or die situation this series.
for Digmig here. They're looking for support and potentially their jungler here. Actually, pardon me, they're mid laner here or top laner, depending on how or where this set goes. And Nautilus is very strong. They've got themselves a pretty good stand and deliver composition here. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, there we go. That Nico pick that DNA has defaulted to so much this split. It's really not a champion that's in the meta. We don't see a lot of it, but DNA is good in lane on the champion and in the team fights as well. It's not going to be the pick to initiate the fights, but if you already have some sort of CC, some sort of easy engage like the Nautilus there, it's very good follow-up CC, and it's very good disengage for when the Nocturne, when the Xin Zhao are looking to dive.
Yeah, and RMC, you were talking a little bit earlier off stream about how while you do like this Nico pickup for DNA, you don't like it being that primary engage. But now you have this set, which will be going towards Dragoon up towards the top side to allow, and as well, the Nautilus for Light Pulse to add some more engage and let Nico here for DNA beats that sort of secondary force. On the other side, Supernova for Strampus is going to respond with that Azir pickup. Was a champion that AoE Randoms played against Strampus in the last series, so it'll be interesting to see it if he's learned anything from that 2-0 loss.
Strampus has played the Azir before. It's not as if he hasn't touched it. Granted, it was way back in, I believe, week one actually of Challengers Uprising. So it was a while ago, but it fits Strampus out to a T. Strampus likes to play those champions like the Rise, like the Azir, like the Corki, who skill up into the late game really well here. And on top of that, I really like the Emperor's Divide. I was wondering if they were going to try and shoehorn the Rise in. It's not the worst matchup into the Nico, but it's certainly not that good necessarily. Whereas the Azir, the Emperor's Divide stops the engage from Digmig, right? They need to get in there to get the damage down. Kindred and Callista are not particularly long range AD carries. They are fairly short range, and Set will always have to jump in here. And not only that, but you've got sufficient range on the Azir with your Sand Soldiers as well. They can absolutely rip through a line. And actually, I just thought about this too. The Lamb's Respite with Emperor's Divide.
Yeah.
That's something you can use offensively as well to get everybody out of that safety zone into a place where your Nocturne can dive, where your Xin Zhao can dive, where your Ezreal can just kite around pumping out all that damage.
Yeah, and if you even want to push it, even the Crescent card for Jin Zhao on Maddie could be super good at kind of sweeping some people out of that Lamb's Respite. But as you take a look at some of the team compositions that these two teams have picked for themselves in this game one, a very well-rounded, I would say. There's a good mix of engage and disengage on either side.
Both teams kind of got what they wanted out of draft here. And what I've noticed with Supernova, for the most part, is that they kind of play their own game, play their own meta here in a meta right now where a lot of people are looking for that early game pressure, for that mid-game map control here. That's not what they're doing. The Nocturne here isn't necessarily picked the same way either. You've got the Nocturne needs a bit of time to scale up to really be effective here. Ezreal, Yumi, they too need some time. They're not really an early game dominant lane. And Azir did get some buffs, so you have a bit more lane control, but you probably won't be able to shove quite as effectively. You won't get the priority over that Nico. Not the agency for sure, because if you do walk into a bush and Nico's there, Nico wins that trade. And Supernova have always been fine doing that. They let Maddie just kind of try and control the early game, on his own here. But come that mid to late game, my goodness, that's when Supernova really take off. And that's why I'm expecting to see Digmig take this composition with the Kalista Nautilus, with the set, with the Nico, and start applying the pressure early, throw TPs down to the bot lane if you have to, into the mid lane, into the top lane, anywhere here. Get some action rolling. And if anything, back up your Kindred, get Cyber to a point where Cyber can start ripping people apart. The sooner, the better.
And you're talking about some of those teleports down into the bottom lane, and these two bot lanes that haven't picked up, but first of all, have some very different playstyles. Kalista Nautilus, very aggressive. Ezreal Yumi, very safe. But these are also two bot lanes that were just recently picked up for these teams for the summer split, and have both been off to some decent success. So it'll be interesting to see how much attention is going to be put down there, because I know, at least for Dig Mirage, last tournament versus this tournament, definitely been a lot more focused down there.
Yeah, for Dig Mirage, they've got carry potential in every single lane, so they can really sort of just pop off anywhere. And Cyber, well, pick your poison where you want to go. All the lanes have pretty good gank assists as well into their individual matchups. But the circumstances regarding the lane changes are also kind of different. For Digmig here, their previous bot lane of Claritz and Good Boy didn't look too good in the Challenger Uprising here. So, they swapped it up. And for the most part, Cow and Lightpulse have been great for them. Lightpulse, and a huge engager for the team. And Cow doesn't need too many ganks, too many resources, doesn't lose lane too poorly when they don't get that sort of resource here. For Supernova, their bot lane change up, most notably Array, moving over to join the side of Resolve here. And Lynx coming in has been absolutely massive for this team as well. Lynx just filling that spot right away has been a huge carry, especially on this Ezreal pick. And with Ezreal Yumi, you really, really, really don't need gank. So to a certain extent, I don't think we're going to see too much action from Supernova down there. And it's more responding to the ganks coming through from Digmig if they do decide to get Cyber some kills early, if Dragoon and DNA start to teleport into the bot lane a little bit more. That's when we see that. If not, I think, Supernova will be more than happy to have that 2v2 isolated bot lane.
It looks like these teams are ready to load. We are having a bit of a spectator delay, but Game 1 Champion Select will be happening in just a couple of minutes. We're going to take a short break, but Game 1 between Dignitas Mirage and Supernova will be on your way in just a bit. Welcome everybody to Summoner's Rift. We got Dignatas Mirage on your blue side, Supernova on your red side. We're here for game 1 of the Risen Champions League group stage. Both of these teams desperately need a win. For Dignatas Mirage, a win will secure them a spot in the playoffs, and for Supernova, a win will keep them alive.
And just to clarify, in case you're confused with some of the names here, on Dignitas Mirage here, Ninetales is indeed Cow. We will probably be referring to him that way throughout most of the game. And for the side of Supernova here, Prosper's cat is Papa Chow. So again, might switch back and forth between the names just to clear up any confusion before we start.
Yeah, and we'll try to keep you guys updated on that. Obviously, us not being on Tournament Realm means some of the summoner names for some of these players are a little bit different than what they typically go by. But as we take a look, it seems like a pretty standard 5-point for both of these teams to open up. Obviously, we see 2 sets on the map, which is not typically what you would see in a game of League of Legends, but DNA with that Nico. We're going to start with the W to get some extra scouting on the vision of the jungle of Supernova.
And that scout really didn't tell them much. The fact that Strumpus was there to intercept really solid. And if they are trying to track where Maddie is starting here, they'll kind of have to go by how the lanes react. DNA actually stepping up. Do they want to trade this early? You started W as the Nico. You don't have the damage to trade.
Yep, looks like it's just going to be chasing Strumpus out of lane. Not going to mean all too much, but with some of that pressure being put towards that top side for DNA, it's going to allow for the Dignitas Mirage bot lane to allow Cyber to get a steal onto the blue buff to start things off. And now they might be looking for an aggressive play. Going to land the dredge line up to Lynx. Ignite popped very early on, and Lynx is ticking dangerously low because he's on the right side of the map. Cow picks up first blood, and Chow, as the Yumi, won't be able to do much to return.
Yeah, really heads up play from Digmig there, and I'm guessing like Supernova just didn't expect it to be coming. Topside we're seeing trades, but they should be fine. Both are kind of low, and right now Digmig have opted into a vertical jungle, so Dragoon should be aware. Maddie, there's a very good chance he just goes up there, ganks that top lane again, and for this bot side, Lynx sees this here. Yeah, this is not safe for him.
Yeah, and I feel like at this point, Maddie definitely knows what is going on, but Chow stepping way too close. Why even bother to do that? Cow's going to get his second kill of the game, and things are starting off really well for Dignitas Mirage.
What? Papa Chow has played Yumi before and has played it well. And any good Yumi knows basically what you just kind of do is you go into the game, you attach yourself to somebody else, and you turn on a movie, watch a movie instead. You didn't have somebody to attach to. CP Link's there. You're not supposed to farm.
And now Maddie is going to go a little bit aggressive onto DNA. Cyber's here as well, surprisingly, actually only sitting at level 2 with 2 camps completed. Now Maddie's going to go back in with the Audacious Charge. Charging in is Strumpus as well, and Supernova will answer right back. The wind becomes lightning. Will barely hit onto DNA. Wasn't sure just about that hitbox. And meanwhile, on the top side, another solo kill going over to Cozy. And just like that, the gold and the kill lead are back in the favor of Supernova.
Why am I even here, Graves? This is gonna be a mad slaughterhouse. It ain't done yet. Ninetales count. You're done. You're done.
Looks like on a bit of an overstay. Lynx is going to pick up that kill rather easily. Does have to burn both of the summoners, but hey, so does Cal. And now it's 4-2 for Supernova. And all of a sudden, despite them dying in that 2v2 so early on, despite them losing that early invade, they're now up 1,000 gold.
Yep. The good news, at least for Digmig, is that the vertical jungle didn't really come through. Maddie got pulled into the mid lane quite early there. So Cyber actually wasn't split, does get to 3 buff here. And for a Kindred, that's pretty important because the Kindred does want to be able to pick up all the farm and get to a point where you can pick up the marks here. So despite the 1k gold lead for Supernova, it's not the end of the world for Digmig. And Supernova as a team generally also play a little bit slower. They're not ones to necessarily push the pace too much here, especially with an Azir. With an Ezreal, there's some time for Digmig to stabilize things and bounce back here.
And if you're talking about scaling for Supernova, 2 kills on Strumpus this early on is super crucial. We're talking about Azir, a champion that was nerfed a bit in the early game, but now is still that late game powerhouse that we know and love. And so having him accelerated like this, sure, he's down a couple of waves, but he's going to be able to scale up really well and do a lot more damage once we get towards these mid games instead of the late game.
You see that in the item discrepancy already here. The fact DNA went the corrupting potions, whereas Strumpus, has that amp tome as well as the Duran's Ring kind of advantage over DNA here. I actually want to see Supernova go for this early dragon here. Maddie is still stronger than Cyber. And depending on how your bot lane goes, if you're set up there first at the dragon, the poke from CP Lynx and Papa Chow is going to be a little bit better than, the Nautilus and the Kalista trying to have to walk into that dangerous position.
Nice trade going there from Cozy as well, but there might be happening here in the bottom side. Light Pulse is going to start off with the auto, which is incredibly smart. Make sure Lynx dies pretty much instantly. Is going to get trade once in return, but a double kill going over to the Nautilus, and Dragoon will answer back with a solo kill of his own in the top side as well.
So synced. I feel like when the first bunch of action happened, Supernova got kills across the board. Now Digmig's getting kills, top and bottom. This bot lane, this Ezreal Yuumi, they're very, very squishy, and they have to be aware of that. Exhaust actually went down onto Light Pulse as well. I can't imagine that was the target they meant to go for, because the damage isn't necessarily coming out of the Nautilus there. You kind of need it on the Kindred, on the Kalista. Either way, though, that's a dive that can repeat, especially once Cyber hits 6, and they need to start warding the entrances to their jungle or that bush behind them there, because if they get caught one more time like that, it's not good. Cow, pardon me, 2-1-2. Light Pulse, 2-1-2. These advantages for this bot lane that is already a stronger bot lane in the beginning of the game can mean that Digmig takes over the entire mid game.
Yeah, exactly. The Ezreal Yuumi scaling is definitely still there, but if you're already down so much in the early game, it's not going to matter too much if the game ends at 20 minutes. You're not going to be able to have that time to scale. So the bot lane of Supernova will have to be a bit careful, but maybe not careful enough. Here comes the dredge line in from Light Pulse, and another aggressive dash forward from Cal. Arcane shift out from Lynx will secure his safety, but still pretty aggressive here in the bottom lane for both of these teams.
I think Maddie got in here uninterrupted. They don't know where Maddie is, but because Strompas roamed down and had to clear the ward, that's why we're seeing Cow and Light Pulse play back a little bit here. Dragon is still available. All the advantages we talked about are still there here.
Yeah, and it looks like that dragon will be secured rather easily, but it will come at the cost of that red buff. Cyber has now taken 2 out of the 4 available buffs from Maddie in the first 7 minutes of this game. Dragon will go down though, and getting that soul acceleration for Supernova is obviously pretty important.
Supernova has done a great job though of denying the marks away from Cyber. Cyber has not picked up a single mark yet for this Kindred, and buffs are nice, but marks are forever. So I think they do need to start focusing a little bit on trying to get Cyber ahead if they do want Cyber to have impact here in the mid game.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point that you bring up as well, because Cyber, playing Kindred in competitive or in these sort of team coordination matches is obviously very different than playing it in solo queue. I have a friend that plays Kindred, and he says whenever we play Clash or something, he loves playing Kindred because the whole team will just gather around the marks, and he'll have like 10 marks by 20 minutes. But that hasn't really been happening here, and he's been more focusing on this counter jungling, which sure is getting himself a little bit ahead, but not as much as he might have so desired. But Maddie has snuck into the bottom side for a potential gank. Doesn't look like Cal knows just yet, and this could be a bit dangerous. Lynx is going in. Fate's Call already popped by Cal, but it's not going to matter too much. A Crescent Guard in from Maddie will secure the kill onto Cal, and now Light Pulse is stuck in a 1v3. Going to be running in the wrong direction towards the tower, so Maddie's just going to take a bit of a reset and let Lynx finish it himself.
Oh no!
No! Lynx, no! Oh, it's ruined. He gets out alive, and since Maddie goes for the back, he's not going to be able to pick up the kill. Light Pulse with the Titan step just in time will save his life.
That's that was hilarious. That's the moment where you're kind of like, oh, we got this. Easy. Turret will finish it. They just needed one more slow, just to walk it in. They get that. Is it gonna hurt them in the long run? Honestly, probably not. Getting the gold would have been nice here. But Lynx, I don't think is at a huge break point right now where that little bit of gold, that 300 gold, would have made a big difference here. Now, Grapes, we've not been focused too much on the mid or top lane. And all the action's been happening in the bot lane so far. But I do want to remind us that Paranoia is available for Cozy top side right now. And that does mean that for Digmig, unless you can make sure that Cozy is locked down and unable to move, you're very stifled in trying to make plays on this Azir here. And once that teleport comes back up for both these top laners, things also get kind of dangerous in the bot lane, because Cozy can always TP there, run back up, and then Paranoia to the top lane if he needs to get back quickly.
Speaking of the top lane, Cozy coming up with another really good trade. This is a nice matchup because it's so easy to block that Haymaker damage with that spell shield. And this is really good showing from Cozy so far. Has struggled a little bit so to start off the summer split, and going up against a strong top laner by Dragoon was a little bit scary. But since he does get this counter, he is able to continuously get a bit of a CS lead, and I'm liking what I've been seeing from him so far.
Despite the goal being pretty much dead even right now, Grapes, I'm a little bit worried for the side of Digmake because they generally win when they've got leads in their lanes. They don't play too well from behind, and they're not behind right now, don't get me wrong, but Supernova is really good at playing when they're even or just slightly behind.
Yeah, here come the teleports that you were talking about. That's a true shot Mirage, and that's Cozy coming in to finish off the kill onto Cal once again. Light Pulse doesn't have the flash because he used it last time, and it's going to be Strampus picking up a shutdown.
Yeah, I was just thinking, is Light Pulse going to get out? I mean, you got Hex Slash, but no way you get out there here. Bot lane turret, going to take a pounding. Maddie is in the area. That's going to be a whole bunch of plates taken out. And Cyber marking Maddie, I'm not sure that's the right mark for you to go for. The Xin Zhao can 1v1 duel. If anything, I think at this point, you kind of mark this bot lane, Sleepy Lynx and Papa Chow. Yes, they've been pretty safe for the last little while, but I think that's also with the numbers advantage. You know TP's down for Cozy. You know that the Paranoia is down, and if they were tracking, they'd probably also know Trompists is down here. So you take that Fate's Call, you take that Nautilus. We've seen it before. The Ignite's up. You can absolutely wreck one of these squishies.
Yeah, and despite a near disaster happening from the bottom lane of Supernova to start the game off, they've been able to come back rather nicely. I mean, Maddie has had a big impact, as Cozy did with that teleport of his own. But now this weak side bot lane for Supernova that they drafted for themselves is starting to scale. That Divine Sunder coming in for Lynx, and the Shirelli coming in for Chow as well. So it'll be interesting to see how much more attention Cyber and the rest of Dignatas Mirage do manage to take towards that bottom lane. They will use that Rift Herald to pick up the first turret. And now Lynx might be in a bit of trouble. Beautiful arcane shift out.
Got the panic button on the Ezreal here, and I think this is kind of it in terms of what they can find in this bot lane. They dropped the Herald, they got the turret. They're actually going to get one more charge off. I am frightened that was the case. That is an inner turret taking a beating, but it'll be okay. After this, it's going to be hard to push in because it's a longer lane, which does favor the Ezreal, where you can get that mobility, you can sort of kite away. And for Cow, for Light Pulse, this is where I want to start seeing them roaming here. Look for Strampus.
Oh, Light Pulse is going to use that Fate's Call to get in onto Lynx. Ignite's already ticking, but the final chapter from Chow will make sure that neither a bot lane member of Dignitas Mirage will be able to go super aggressive, but the exhaust has been popped, and Strampus is here as well. Depth Charge going to be used onto the Azir, but Chow picks up the first kill with the Ignite. Dragon goes over from Cyber, but not going to matter too much if you lose 2 more kills of your own. Strampus hitting him in with the Sand Soldiers. One last Q will do it. 4-0 and 1 on the Azir.
This is why, Grapes, I was saying that long lane, you're done there. You took the outer turret. Just walk away. I thought they were just running interference to buy Cyber time to get that dragon. They overstayed, and you cannot afford to do that. There is no vision in the jungle right now that will spot people coming out of Supernova's base. Hopefully, that's the last mistake we see in this bot lane. Like I said, it's time for them to rotate out. It's time for them to find leads elsewhere. And hey, it's time for you to go and help Dragoon top, because Dragoon is suffering right now. And if you put Cow, if you put Light Pulse up there, Cozy doesn't get that free lane anymore.
Yeah, and I really thought that these teams were just going to take a sort of handshake, if you will. Use that Herald in bot lane for Dignitas Mirage, get that free dragon while Maddie gets some camps in the top side, but didn't actually end up turning into that, and ended up being a little bit worse for Dig. Light Pulse and Cow, now with the tower gone in the bottom side, are going to move up towards the top lane and allow Dragoon to play on this longer lane, so to speak, down bot.
Yeah, the longer lane is safer if you can kind of hold it. Paranoia come down.
Oh, this Nocturne Yumi is definitely scary. The true shot Mirage to boot as Cal goes down for the 5th time this game. Light Pulse does have the flash to get out safely, but a nice play coming out from Cozy. And RMC, we were talking about how the Hecarim Yumi could be a pretty dangerous combo, and this Nocturne is doing just the same.
Yeah, not a combo I see too often here, but definitely it works, man. Like, you're not getting the 5-man engage, but single targets absolutely getting nuked. Cyber, you don't want to be here either. You have to be careful. And you know, all I can think of right now is that in the background for Light Pulse, the thematic music, the entrance music should just be "I will survive" right now.
Well, Someone who didn't survive was DNA on that play. Stromp is swooping in with the Emperor's Divide. Maddie picking up that kill. And things are going so right for Supernova to start this one off. Strompus has to be a bit careful, though, because Cyber is here. Does have the flash if he does want to go super aggressive. Doesn't look like the Dance of Arrows will be enough to get him into range. But as we take a step back for just a second, it's about a 3,500 gold lead for Supernova. A much better start than they had in any of their games against randoms yesterday.
They're really solid here. They can actually win this fight.
Yeah, maybe. So, looks like the Rift Herald will get picked up by Lynx is in the middle of the enemy team. He will go down, but not before taking down Light Pulse in return. Lancer Sprite has been popped, and now it's a 4v2 as Chow will be the sacrificial cat, but it doesn't matter because Dragoon goes down to Maddie on the other side. It's a 3-for-1, but they do get the Rift Herald.
Yeah, and that was both TPs burned. That was why I was the last words I managed to scream before they initiated was they can win this year, and they had to win it there. Unfortunately, though, Supernova did pick up the Eye of the Herald. It is on Maddie. They did manage to get that before they started dropping, and bot side as well. Cozy did take a turret. So despite the kills not going in their favor there, despite giving up some of the bounties that they had, I believe there's a 150 gold bounty on 3 members there of Supernova, which got mostly reset. They're still in good position. They can still reset the fights. And if everybody's there, most importantly, if Strumpus is there, that fight becomes that much harder. The Emperor's Divide is absolutely key. And I want to see Supernova make sure they set up a little bit better for the Dragon in 1 minute and 40 seconds here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about in the draft. Strumpus has to be at these fights because he can push the rest of Digmig out of that Lamb's Respite. And so now with the Dragon spawning, having these key cooldowns available will be crucial. I'm not expecting to see too much engagement from either of these teams before that objective spawns.
I want to agree, Grapes. The color in me completely agrees, but I just remember the first 5 minutes of this game where they just kept going at each other here. The other thing too is the Paranoia is available for Cozy, so there is a chance that if anybody kind of steps out, or if Kao is just the only one left in this mid lane turret, they might get dove between Strumpist and Maddie here. Even if Papa Chow is not sitting on one of them, they can kind of go in, do the Shurima shuffle, and get that Kalista off the table before Dragon spawns.
Well, that Dragon will be spawning in less than a minute. We do see DNA and Cozy both towards the top side. DNA does not have that teleport available, so has to be a bit wary of the timing. Wow. Chow and Cyber take so much damage from Strumpus. Only 1 item completed, but that Leandries is doing work.
Yeah, and on top of that, DNA has not completed their mythic here. So right now, they're on a huge power push. Herald pushing down as well here with the turret behind. Supernova are committing to this right now, and I love it. Cozy's just hovering on the side waiting.
Yeah, and Cozy is forcing DNA to stay towards his top side for the entire time. And if any sort of contest happens for Dragon, Cozy will be there with the teleport. DNA won't. So this is a bit scary for Dignatas Mirage. They are getting pushed in on both top and mid lane. And it looks like this mid inner will start to fall very shortly.
Literally nothing you can do there. The Cow got poked out, Light Pulse got poked out. You can't initiate because of the turret behind them as well. You just got to give it up. And you know what? At least they didn't lose anybody else. They are perfectly A-okay. And look at this rotation immediately here. Mid turret's gone. Cozy starts rotating mid so that he can start covering the Dragon as well. They're always moving as a 5-man unit, even though it looks like a 4-1 split push.
Yeah, and that's the power of having this Nocturne in one of your side lanes. Always is able to join one of the fights, whether it's with the Paranoia, whether it's with the Teleport, or whether it's with both. But now 3 members are going in onto Dragoon, and that's the Paranoia that we've been talking about. Final chapter is going to lock up. Dragoon will use the Haymaker to try to stay alive, but not going to be alive for very long. 5-member strong once again for Supernova in the bottom lane.
And Digmig, they're just taking what they can. Oh no, I was going to say they're taking what they can get in the top side. They can't even do that. They have to base, so they're going to risk losing. The Shirelia's popped.
Maddie is going to get hooked up. Strumpus has so much damage available if a fight does decide to erupt. Still has the flash. Still has Light Pulse getting choked out. Not even going to be able to engage, but now Cyber's going to dash forward. He has to pop that Lamb's Respite. Looks like the healing will go through for now. No ultimate use from Strumpus just yet. DNA going to Everfrost Lynx up for just a little bit longer. The tether is going to break from Cozy, and somehow, some way, Dignitas Mirage get out with their lives, but not without their bottom inhibitor turret.
At least the inhibitor is standing, Grapes. I think that's the key thing right now. You don't have supers pushing down as Baron spawns. If that was the situation here, then Digmig, I think, kind of have to give up this Baron altogether. TPs are up for both of Supernova's solo laners. They've not had to do it. Cozy's been able to rely on that Paranoia, which will be coming up in roughly about 20-30 seconds as well. So both these teams, vision on Baron. That's going to be key. Digmig already has their setup, and Supernova will have to come in and manually sweep that up, set up their own ward line before they can even attempt it.
Yep, the big purple worm spawning in less than 30 seconds, and so with the dragons not spawning for another 3, will mean that both of these teams will try to send their focus towards this top side. Checking in at the marks for Kindred real quick, does have that requisite force, so it has as at least enough to kind of be some sort of impact in this game, but definitely not the start that you want from Cyber.
No. And the problem is that the marks are in, but they're kind of late when we look at sort of the item breakpoints, the status of things here. And then the question becomes, how do you initiate? How do you get Cyber to the table here? Light Pulse's engage is not safe. We already saw that he gets absolutely chunked. And if he forces that, he's dead before the fight starts.
Oh, Link's trying to go aggressive. Hot Blossom will miss from DNA, gonna have to flash away, but here comes the paranoia. Say your goodbyes, because the nightmares are through, and it looks like Cow will be the next target. Cyber is running for the hills with Dragoon, but the audacious charge forward from Maddie will secure another. 20 minutes in, the Supernova are gonna win a fight, and look where they are, right around the top side. They're headed to Baron.
Yep, it's up. There's literally no one to stop you here. Once again, Light Pulse, I will survive. Did get out alive there when the entire team was dropping dead. And you know what? I appreciate what DNA was trying to do, because we're talking about how do you find a fight that's favorable to you? You don't. You don't find the 5v5 right now. You don't have the comp for it when you're this far behind. So you look for the picks instead. If that Pop Blossom hits, maybe things would have gone differently, but that's another multiverse that we did not go down, unfortunately. DNA dropping, and the fact that Digmig committed to the follow-up when they already knew that DNA was shafted, that's dead. And now with this Baron push here, with an open inhibitor in the bot lane as well, Supernova should be able to put the game in such a state that they can't lose it.
And look at the pings all over the map, right towards that wolf camp for Maddie, making sure to try and suffocate Cyber as much as he can before they try to close out this game. As you said, RMC, we have that inhibitor available onto the bottom side, so it looks like at least some members could potentially look to go there. But for now, Supernova is keeping true to their motto of 5 strong and headed down mid.
Paranoia is about to come off cooldown, and once it does, I expect to see Cozy at that point start to look. They're fine. They're okay. Maybe not. Everybody's there.
Yeah, the bot lane for Digmig is on the wrong side of the map, but the arcane shift out from Lynx will make sure that they will get out safely. And look at this! The flank is not going to work if your base is being destroyed, RMC.
The flag's not going to work when the Azir passive is up. They can't run through that turret, and I think they've kind of... That's going to cost them everything there. Mid just got kicked in, bots down. They can just group up and force this 5 top. Dragoon on the flank.
Yeah, desperation for Dignatas Mirage. They're using both of the teleports on their solo laners, but that means that charge straight forward. Lance Respite will not save Cyber's life, and neither will Light Pulse. Dragoon has finally arrived, but it's way too late. And he's a showstopper only onto Cozy. Haymaker will buy not enough time. Strampus picks up his 6th kill of the fight, and it's a 2v5 at 24 minutes in. Wave pushing down into the middle lane. RMC, I think we all know what this means.
We get ourselves game 2 here, Graves. That's what it means. And Supernova looking clean here. They don't care that they lost their AoE randoms. They don't care that Dig beat AoE title roster here. That's a whole different thing. Supernova is here to play, and this performance right here was stunning.
Absolutely, and this is so different than what we've seen from Supernova in that last series that they had against AoE randoms, and going up against a team that I personally thought could be pretty strong, especially considering their performance against AoE yesterday, and they just dismantled them. They had leads in all basically all of their lanes. Sure, in the bottom lane it was a little bit rough towards the beginning, but eventually as Lynx and Papa Chow started to scale, I mean, Cow started off 2-0 and at the end was what, like 2-7 or something, so things didn't really work out for them at the end, and because of that, Supernova take game 1.
Yeah, Kyle ending the game 4-6-3 on this Kalista, and I mean that's the high risk, high reward of a short range AD carry. And I don't even feel like Digmig necessarily misplayed the overall strategy here. They played aggressively early, and we talked about the fact that Supernova usually a little slow to rev their engines. So the strategy to play fast and loose early, that was fine. I think things started to fall apart when the gank started to go wrong, when they couldn't quite find the plays. And we didn't see the teleports from Dragoon, from DNA being thrown into the bot lane. Instead, we started seeing, Cozy, once you hit 6, that paranoia we were talking about, that became more impactful. Even Strumpus roamed down to the bot lane more than DNA did. And so if Digmig want to play this sort of strong across the map style, they do need to focus, pick a lane, and actually properly focus it down, push that advantage. The early kills are good, but if you don't snowball them into the mid game, Supernova going to bounce back.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that Dignitas Mirage could look towards to try and fix it. A lot of their playstyle didn't, as you said, RMC, didn't really match the team composition that they tried to set up, focusing around this Kalista Nautilus bot lane. Got him ahead a little bit towards the start, but I feel like a large part of that was their own doing and not really that of their teammates.
Yeah, definitely. I do think this bot lane here of Cow and Light Pulse, they did very, very well in lane. They were able to punish, and granted, yeah, there were little missteps from Papa Chow, cleaned up the game a lot towards the end game. But hey, that is a strength. And if you want to just leave your bot lane to do the 2v2 and win that, then gank the mid lane, gank the top lane, especially when there's a global. A viable strategy is gank the global. It won't receive help. And Cozy was just left all alone on an island in a winning matchup here. Now, going to game two, I don't know if they're going to switch sides here. I do think red side is more beneficial to Supernova's drafting style here. So if I'm Digmig, and if Digmig does get the choice for game two, maybe you go to red side, maybe you pick a counter matchup on this top side, and then you try and isolate that. And this time, you let Dragoon take over.
Yeah, instead of going for that first pick, maybe go towards that last pick. We'll see what happens. We haven't received word yet on the side selection, but we're going to take a short break. Game two coming your way. Supernova going to try to close out the series. Sorry. Welcome back, everybody, for Game 2 in the Risen Champions League between Dignitas Mirage and Supernova. Oop, we're back. Anyway, RMC, after that Game 1 win for Supernova, a little bit of differentiation in the draft might be in the works for Dignitas Mirage, and I know you have some thoughts about that.
Yeah, more than thoughts, we had questions because we revisited the draft after game one here, Grapes, and Supernova had 5 support bans. The first 3, all Enchanter supports, and then they get the Yumi. Okay, that's kind of interesting. As for Digmig, you ban the Viego, you ban the Akali, you ban the Gwen. Why? You're blue side. You can always just pick one of them here. I'm not sure first pick set is really the right answer. And I'd honestly be very surprised if we see that again, with the pick like the Ezreal available and Kyle plays that really, really well as well. There's just no reason to leave it up.
Well, it looks like for the most part, things are starting off rather similar. For Game 1, it's going to be Viego and Akali. Will the third one come
Oh,
through? Gwen
no.
has been a champion that Dragoon has played in the past, but we'll see if it does get taken away, and it will be. So it
Oh,
looks like for
no.
now, Dig Mirage is not really thinking that these 3 bans were the problem.
It's a salty run back. Okay, here we go. Here's the change coming up with
Okay.
Digmig, and they need it because don't forget, Digmig was the one who lost game one here, so they do need a change up. I like the Nocturne pickup. I just think Nocturne in general is just really strong. You can flex him 3 roles as well. That said, my head's telling me that's a good pickup. My heart's saying pick the Darius, pick the Darius, pick the Kha'Zix. Those are still on the table. Give the Nocturne to DNA.
Yeah, and potentially that could happen, but Supernova are going to respond with that Jin Zhao that Maddie played so well in that Game 1, and there's still a lot of power picks for Supernova to be that are available. The Ezreal still on the table, and if you wanted to go for those enchanters for Chow, the Yumi is also up as well.
Yeah. Now the Ezreal picks value has decreased slightly with that Nocturne pick because Nocturne can just chase after you, can punish you here. And if you do pick it, you also have to be aware of the potential Kai'Sa counter pick coming out from Digmig and Kai'Sa Nocturne diving. I don't care if you've got a Yumi on you, that Ezreal still will get dove, will still get punished. Supernova, you know what? They're gonna pick it up. That's fine. That's okay. And my question now is, Digmig, are you gonna deny the Yumi by picking it? We saw the Yumi Nocturne combo last time. It did look pretty good.
I'm not sure if that's really in Light Pulse's repertoire, to say the least. Will be interesting to see if it does happen. If not, Supernova likely will be picking that up with that R3. But for the side of Cal, even though that Ezreal is countered by these engaged champions like the Kai'Sa,
Ooh.
Varus and Kalista are his 2 most played champions. We'll be surprised to see that Kalista come out. Rumble getting picked up and hovered here at RMC. I know this is a champion that you've been wanting to see.
Yeah. So we talked about it before game one, the fact that Maddie doesn't really play the Rumble here. So you can leave it open. And if you're Dig Mig and be very, very comfortable picking it up. I was saying last game, I would have really liked to see that Rumble with that Nautilus here, even if you have to put it mid. Granted, it's not exactly DNA's style champion. So maybe that was a factor here. Well, they pick it up now with the Nautilus as well. Braum being paired by Supernova.
Hmm.
I like it in terms of dealing with a Nocturne and a potential Kai'Sa, because Yumi won't save you from that, but it doesn't do much against the Rumble. You can't really peel off the Rumble. Unbreakable doesn't stop the damage coming through. So it doesn't help the rest of your team in terms of that particular matchup.
Yeah, some of those enchanters that Rumble technically is labeled as a counter against is these guys like the Karma and Seraphine, which are off the table because Supernova banned it themselves. And now, as we head into the second phase of the bans, more targeting towards the mid lane for Dig Mirage. Strampus won't be getting his hands on that Azir for the second game in a row. And if you're Supernova here, you've only seen Cal really play a couple of champions. I wouldn't be surprised if the Kalista and the Varus taken away here.
Okay. Yeah. No, they've gone to Tristana for now here. The Varus is also counted kind of by the Braum, so I think that's why they're comfortable leaving it up because the
Sure, yeah.
Unbreakable stops the piercing arrows. And the Crescent Sweep as well from the Xin can also stop that. I think it's okay. And I'm more curious now to what Digmig do ban out here because Strumpist, we've not gotten to see too much of Strumpist champion pool for the most part. It's been Rise, Viego, Rise, and more Rise. And we got to see
Mhm.
the Azir today. That did get banned. And okay, they missed the last ban. We'll have to see. It's a Nar ban, we're getting told right now. Nar ban for Cozy. And Lee Sin's still open for Cozy. That has been something that Supernova has just left Cozy to play repeatedly here. Into the Nocturne, though, it's also not a terrible matchup.
Yeah, I would definitely
Ooh,
not surprised to
the
see that
set
Lee Sin
itself.
picked up, but the set insta-lock, and that's the Kai'Sa that you were talking about, RMC, somebody
Yeah.
to answer into that Ezreal. Last pick is presumably preserved for Strampus, is potentially able to play a champion like this Lee Sin, but now that we do see some of these team compositions
Yeah.
erupted, that's the rise that we know and love coming out R5.
There's no like it's not a terrible matchup here. The spell shield from a Nocturne mid can only block one of those spells, and then you just kind of shotgun machine gun your way through all of it here. It doesn't it's not a good matchup for Nocturne for the most part because you're melee, and Rise just enjoys eating melees in lane. So Trump is more than happy to pick this up. And I'm just got a question: if you were gonna leave that Rise up, and you were thinking about sending that Nocturne mid, why ban the Gnar?
Yeah, it's strange to think about potentially. I mean, the Lee Sin coming through could have been an answer into one of the champions that Dig Mirage wanted to play, like this set. And there's still some flexibility on the side. Obviously, Rumble can go to the solo lanes. Probably going to see him go into the jungle. I was more talking about the Nocturne and Set being able to
Mhm.
flex between both mid and top. DNA and Dragoon are definitely capable of playing either of these champions, and so depending on the matchup, might be able to switch it up and even roll swap.
Yeah, I mean, the set does so well into the Lee Sin. I just don't see why you wouldn't do that. But perhaps they're banking on the sustainability of set against Rise. Either way, I think that the lanes right now, if they do end up sending the set into the Lee Sin top, that's heavily Dig make favorite. And I think you leave that on an island like you did last game. Last game, unfortunately, your set got bullied out by the Nocturne. This time, your set gets to bully out there. And I think you focus on this bot side, especially post 6, because that Rumble Nautilus combo is so strong. I cannot emphasize that enough here. And this Shinzao, I'm not even thinking the Ezreal, because the Ezreal you can always just arcane shift off the red carpet and then you're safe. But Shinzao can't. Shinzao has to kind of sit there. You try and walk out. If the Nautilus is on you, you just burn and burn and burn. And then your Kai'Sa is dealing with the Ezreal in that 1v1. Braum can't really stop Killer Instinct either.
Yeah, and the bot lane is obviously going to be the focus once again for these teams, just judging from the way that these teams have played before. And now we see some of these globals coming out, like the Nocturne here for Dignitas Mirage, even something pretty far range like the Rumble Equalizer coming through here into the bottom lane for Supernova. Going to try and double down on that aggressive play style that Digmig are trying to play here with this Kai'Sa Nautilus.
And now for Digmig, because of their sort of winning side lanes that they have here, the map structure is going to be kind of weird because their jungler Cyber gets to go into the side lanes, push up all they want. The issue becomes the mid lane, where this Rise isn't necessarily going to solo kill the Nocturne repeatedly. The way the matchup kind of goes is more that Rise gets to push out whenever he wants. He gets to shove in DNA Nocturne all the way in, and Nocturne can't really respond to it. And then your jungler shows up and Rise just kind of stuns or slows your jungler if they don't flat up root them and just walks away. So this mid lane is going to be like a fishbone down Dig Mig's throat, and Supernova have to play through it because for this Shinzao right now, that's a good lane to gank. You get the gank assist, you can punish that. Bot lane's not going to feel as good. Ezreal Braum doesn't have as much damage. And then maybe you take that mid lane strength and you go topside with it, right? You get the advantage, especially with Realm Warp level 6. You get up there onto that set and you can absolutely punish here. And that's kind of what I'm expecting to see play out unless we get level 1 madness again.
Yep, just taking a look at the client draft real quick. Are confirming what we're talking about here. Set headed towards Dragoon in the top lane, while DNA will pick up the Nocturne. And hey, if you can't play Nocturne into set, just pick it first and then pick the set after.
Yeah, exactly right. Remove one of the lane counters there. I mean, the set was also picked up, after they knew that it was going to be a Lee Sin for sure. So
Yeah,
that's why I was like 90% sure they were gonna go with that particular
it
matchup.
makes
And
a lot of sense.
once again, just with the picks you've got, Nocturne, Kai'Sa, Rumble. These aren't necessarily late game pickups. Rumble does fall off quite a bit. Nocturne skills pretty decently. So I am expecting Digmig to try and make the early game action happen. Last game, the level 6 kind of got stifled by the Nocturne on Supernova side. This time you've got the Nocturne on your side, and it's in the mid lane, which I actually prefer a little bit more just because you can reach either side of the map. So hey, start throwing ganks down at links at level 6, especially once that Kai'Sa hits level 6, the Ezreal isn't going to be able to escape.
Yeah, and these early game aggressive team composition that Dignitas Mirage are pulling out here really fit their kind of style and their kind of mentality coming into this game too. Sitting down 1-0 against Supernova, they're going to need to come out firing if they want to have a chance to take this series.
Yeah, if not Supernova, they're just gonna scale, right? Like the rise, that Stromp is bread and butter at this point. I'm I almost want to call the Ezreal Lynx bread and butter because he's done so well on it. I don't think it's his
Yeah.
most played champion in PG so far, but it's up there. If it's not number one, it's number two.
Yeah.
And for Cozy, you know what? Yeah, we talked about how bad the lane matchup is for Cozy. But to be honest, Cozy hasn't been winning lane on the Lee Sin anyways. That I don't think that's why Supernova has been picking it. They've been picking it first rotation sometimes. Yeah, so we can trust that Cozy will have impact late game, that Dragon's Rage defensively or offensively, if you get into the back line, kick somebody further into your team, absolutely burst them. That utility's always going to be there. So once again, I feel like Supernova, they've got their comfort champions, the composition that they personally want. And yeah, it's up to Digmake to try and break that.
Yeah, and they'll try to break that and try and break this win streak of one that Supernova have gone for in this series. It's all in Supernova's hands right now, though. If they manage to scale, they'll take the game. And not only that, they'll take that series and tie up the standings with themselves with Dignatas Mirage over at 1-1, making this group much easier for them. We're going to take a short break. Champion Select has been completed, and we're going to see you on Summoner's Rift for Game 2. Welcome back, everybody. We're here for Game 2 between Dignatas Mirage and Supernova. I'm Grapes, joined here by RMC. Digmig on your blue side are looking to come back from a 1-0 deficit in this best of 3.
I am so excited right now, Grapes, because if Digmig win this, we get ourselves a Game 3. If Supernova wins this, Group 3 just got real spicy here. And can it be? Are we going to see some level 1 action here? I think they got spotted.
Oh, Maddie spotted him out, but is it too late? Flash. Nice flash coming out from Maddie to secure his safety. Light Pulse not going to hit that dredge line. Love the Astronautilus skin, by the way. It's very cute.
Hey.
Either way, not. It was looking like there could have been some exciting First Blood 5v5s level 1 to start us off, but I think for now we're just gonna take a deep breath, take a step back, and just kind of play a little bit more normal today.
And it felt like Digme kind of read the play there on that bot side, right? They were stacked as 5 into the bot bush. That's not something you see very commonly there. And Supernova were, 4 stacked. So you can't fight that if you see everybody there. Cozy is not going to be with you. And there wasn't exactly a good teleport location either. So very heads up play. And that's how Digme has played the early game, last game as well. They were the ones to pop off early. It doesn't matter. That's our challenge. It never happened. We're just gonna ignore it.
It's the extra challenge that Trumpus needed to win this lane here. But speaking of extra challenges, here comes Supernova. They remember the invade that happened in game 1, and it looks like they're gonna do one of their own here on the bottom side. Cyber does have the Flame Spitter instead of the normal Scrap Shield to start us off, and not really sure what's happening down in the bottom side, but top lane, nice trades going on as well. Headed back towards bot. They are going to stun up Light Pulse with the Winter's Bite, and Himati's going to dash forward as well. Very dangerous situation. The Blast Cone. Nice job. Going to keep him alive, but at what cost?
Yeah, that is a lot of time wasted right now. You are going to lose a red buff. Cozy has to flash! You don't get a win!
Oh. That's a Dragoon Smash we know and love. First blood for the Dig top laner to start off game 2.
I love the name of that ability to face breaker when you grab somebody, because oftentimes that's what happens, right? You face break and it's just and the flash is not enough range here. We knew that Set was going to win this top lane, just didn't expect it quite this heavily.
Heal burned by Lynx there. I don't know if that was entirely necessary, but it looks like Supernova did manage to get that red buff steal, and Matty, smart play here, goes from buff to make sure that he doesn't get in a situation of vertical jungling, and making sure that he is able to secure the advantage that he so rightly earned. And right now things are looking pretty good for Mirage on the top side, but not so much everywhere else.
Yeah, that's, I think, a very fair assessment of it here. You know what? Maddie got the 3 buff though, and for now Supernova, they're going to be happy with this. They are falling a little bit behind. Papa Chow?
Light Pulse forward. Chow is dangerously low. Flash auto from Cow will secure first blood, but Lynx is going to get a return kill, and now it's ADC versus support. Light Pulse is the level 2 Nautilus, and it doesn't look like Lynx has a way to escape. The Dredge Line misses, and Strappers will come in with the Rune Prison to make sure that his AD carry does not go down.
Last second Arcane Shift came back up, and you know, I was just about to say, Grapes, if Lynx goes down here because he used the heal early, that's a bad heal. But as it stands, he survives. He gets the 1 kill. Strumpus gets an early kill as well. DNA not going to be happy about that. And Lynx, you know what? He just used the heal early so that the cooldown comes back up sooner.
And Maddie going from red to Krugs, you know, the typical start that you see out of many junglers, is going to be able to secure that Rift Scuttler as well. And without any focus towards any of the blue buff here for Maddie, still has so much jungle to take, and he's already up a camp.
Yeah, and because Maddie did show on that ward, they're going to know blue is still up. They're forcing this.
Oh yeah, already burned that spell shield. Wind becomes lightning.
One
will
more.
miss, but one more auto to secure that stun, and it will come in. Maddie's gonna dash in, and DNA goes down. But Cyber is here. A lot of the Supernova members are low. Maddie will get a knock up, and not before falling down. But Light Pulse is here. Strop is gonna take down the Rumble with it for a double, and now Lynx is here to join Light Pulse in the middle lane. Teleport coming in as well from DNA, and this is gonna get messy really quick. Chow's gonna go down because Cow comes as well, and now DNA going to chase off the rest of the Supernova team. We have 9 kills in 4 minutes. What is going on?
It's a repeat of game 1, Grapes. It's the exact same thing where I get to go home for the first 10 minutes and you just carry the show, because this is just madness here. Back and forth scrapping, and last game it went in favor of Supernova, right? Because we have to remember that when you keep getting kills, when you're trading kills, depending on where they go, you're accelerating the pace of the game. And Supernova is the team that wants to go to the late game. Stromp is now with double buffs. I don't remember if he got it last game, but we're already saying that Nocturne doesn't win this lane. Nocturne's going to hate this lane. There's mana regen, there's health regen, there's going to be dead Nocturnes.
Chow up here again with Maddie. This is a lot similarly to the games that we've seen Chow play in Challengers Uprising, when he was on some of these roaming supports, leaving Lynx out to dry a little bit. Sure, now that Lynx is on this Ezreal and Papa Chow is not on the Yuumi, makes it a little bit easier for him to play towards that weak side and allow Chow to go for more roams. But interesting to see a bit of a change in the dynamic.
Yeah, this top side, Cozy is very, very close to dead. And Paranoia is available. You can see DNA
Oh, he's running.
instantly start moving
Yeah.
up there, and that's why Cozy, none of it didn't stay. I respect that. So often we see laners greeting for that wave, and maybe Cozy survives the lane, but you don't survive a gank.
It's a portal combat here, but it's not going to be that for long. Stuns are going to be on to both of the supports, and Cyber overheats too quickly. That is going to be a bit of a feels bad man moment for him, as he's not going to be able to do any more damage on the Pop Chow.
And now Maddie is in here. We've seen the lane gank before. Maddie gets into a bush, and then you kind of wait for the Nautilus hook to come out, because Light Pulse does like to engage those fights here. And once again, the fact that Strompus is shading bot side, I think, is actually interrupting these ganks. They see that Strompus was hovering bottom. We talked about the Paranoia, but the Realm Warp is available for Strompus as well. It will match. It's a little bit shorter distance, I believe, but you can still get to the fight fairly quickly there. So just the moment the mid laners start moving, you can see the side lanes, they're backing off right away.
Yeah, and once again, Strompus going down. Bot lane for Digmig go away. And Strompus has the ability to do this just because of the nature of the matchup he has against DNA. I mean, he's able to continuously use these spell fluxes, these overloads, to take down the waves excessively quickly, force it underneath the tower for DNA. And for DNA, on this Nocturne, a champion that really values pushing and roaming, not really able to do that in the early game.
I'm just kind of wondering why Papa Chow is alone up in that bush. I mean, this isn't the Yuumi, so if you get caught, it's not the end of the world.
Not as bad.
Yeah. Oh, Realm Warp being used.
Yeah, looks like Cyber's gonna have to flash away from his own jungle. You never like to see that, and it just means another. Oh, okay. It was all calculated. I see. Flash for the Gromp.
Yeah, cool guys don't look at
emoji.
explosions. That's what Rujin was saying last night, right? So yeah, you just snipe and walk away, right?
I feel like it was a bit of a different situation. I think that one Josie was winning, and Cyber not really winning in that one. But either way, yeah, I mean it's been a tough couple of minutes to open up this game for Cyber, but the rest of his team is trying to hold that weight for now. The gold lead is only at about 500, largely thanks to a lot of the kills going over to players on both the top and the bottom side. And still no dragons being taken yet, but Light Pulse has joined DNA, going to try and allow him to push up, get a reset before any sort of major fight.
And for Digmig here, their gold's sitting on the top side. It's on Dragoon right now. He's really what's keeping them in the game. And I want to see them bring Dragoon to these fights. I like the fact that they're starting up Herald. That is your strong side of the map here. And it will be a bit of a stat check. How strong is this set really? Everybody's here. This is a full 5v5.
Yeah, bot lanes have arrived. Flash Winter's Bite will miss, but now here comes the Paranoia. DNA is going to dash into the backline with Dragoon, a 3-man Facebreaker, 3-man Maker, and that means Digmig will start to win the fight. 3 go down already. A triple kill for Dragoon. And now Cow and the set are going to chase out the rest of Supernova, and all of a sudden Digmig are back in the lead.
That wasn't a stat check, Crepes. That was a reality check. Dragoon showed up, and I did not think that Haymaker was going to do that much damage, but he caught almost everyone in the maximal damage portion on it, and that just the true damage portion of it. And now 4-0, Cozy. I'm sorry, you don't get to play the game. You already lost 2 plates now. You walk up there, Dragoon will kill you and get plates. And unless Maddie and Strompus are willing to babysit this top lane, first turret probably going to go to Digmig even if without the Herald.
Yeah, and the side lane and the top side superiority for Dignatas Mirage is starting to show just a little bit. Dragoon didn't get that sort of lead that he wanted to in game 1, in the lead that we all expected, I would say, in that top side, and that was a large reason that Supernova were able to take game 1 so quickly. But now, sitting at this 4-kill set, already has that Stridebreaker Boots combo completed in under 10 minutes. Gonna be a scary boy.
Yeah, that's a wrap. And I like what they're doing already, right? They send Kao up to that top lane because Kao was struggling a little bit in that 2v2. You get them out of the bad lane, and you send Dragoon into the mid lane. Okay. You're not even trying to match, mobility anymore. You're just putting strength against strength, the two most fed members of the team against each other.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit that we were kind of questioning where some of these lane assignments would go. Don't think we expected this, but either way, it's gonna work out well enough, I think, for Dignitas Mirage. Dragon still hasn't been taken 10 minutes in, but now both teleports are available for both solo laners on both teams, which means that some sort of plays could potentially happen. Looking towards that top side, we do see Cyber looking to place that Rift Herald and take down that top lane turret. Gonna funnel some more gold into the arms of Cow.
Yeah, and once again, Cozy, unfortunately, forced out of the lane, but good back. You know that drops. You know there's enough kill potential. We get locked down. If Light Pulse hits 6, you're pretty much done for there. This time, won't get your inner turret knocked, and I like that. While that's happening, Maddie is taking Dragon on this bot side, solo, unassisted. So they answer back turret for Dragon.
Yeah, not the worst trade if you're Supernova, especially considering the state that the top lane matchup is in. And now it's Dragon for a bit of a gold lead. Dragoon's going to come in with that Stride Breaker. DNA coming in as well. All three ultimates are going to be used to take it down. The Rise mid lane carry for Supernova is down.
Yeah, one more second. And originally, I was a little concerned about that particular matchup. The set into Rise, we talked about it. It's not good for the set either. Rise chews through those melees. But the fact that it enables DNA to now join in that fight, to just paranoia in, that's really good. We talked about the fact that you don't want your global in a really abusive lane, because then your global can't move. If your global is dying, no one can back up your global. So I think that's why they've changed it up. And as soon as that kill goes down, they're trying to funnel gold into Dragoon. Dragoon goes top side, catches that wave, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him, roam back down into the mid lane again. Let DNA go farm up, maybe go into the jungle even, because lane Nocturne still takes jungle camps really quickly.
Yeah, and the mainstays of this Dignitas Mirage team that we saw in Proving Grounds last split are the ones that are getting their team the lead here in this game too, in a must-win game to win this series. And this is a lot of what we've been seeing from this Dignitas Mirage team, especially during Challengers Uprising. While they did have a different bot lane, it was still the solo laners that took the priority.
Yeah, Dragoon gets the lion's share of resources here. DNA usually actually winning the lane, so I think this is a bit of a rough spot here, but has done really well to adapt, to adjust to it. Dragoon pushed up very far in the top side, and I would actually like to see a little bit of gank assist, because if he can take the outer turret here without any assistance whatsoever, he can take the inner turret. And right now, most of Supernova is showing up in terms of vision here, and yeah, if they know where they are, that unlocks Dragoon to be more aggressive in that 1v1.
Yeah, and 1v1s for Dragoon will be rather easy. I think he's probably able to just one-shot anybody that he runs into at this point. But now looking towards that bottom lane matchup as we hover towards them, farming waves in the mid lane. In the last matchup in game 1, Cow and Light Pulse did manage to get some sort of advantage early on. Now, it's been all Lynx and Papa Chow. Big CS lead, big kill lead going over to Lynx as well. Already has a Divine Sunder working towards that Manamune. Things are going well for him, but now the teleports are coming in from Cozy, and it looks like Dragoon was going for a flank, and now Cozy might be a bit punished. Equalizer is going to try and burn him down, but Cyber is not fast enough to take down the Lee Sin just yet. He's going to go back in and get taken down. 5 strong for Dig in the bottom lane, but the rest of Supernova are here.
Oh, no.
Dredgeline will miss, but it means that Light Pulse will get taken down instantly. Here comes the Paranoia going in on to Strumpus. Going to be a little bit careful here. And now Dragoon's going to hit a massive haymaker. Chow goes down. So does Dragoon, though. And all of a sudden, Supernova are going to win this fight. The World Warp not even going to be taken, as that's going to be Cow going down first, maybe. Killer Instinct in. Going to trade both sides of the heal. But there comes Maddie to secure it. Cyber goes forward. And it's a 4 for 2 for Supernova.
Did only 4 for 2? Okay, yeah. I was like, that feels really low.
Like, die.
Oh my god. Okay. I am... That was insane. Like that series of events there. I do want to highlight a couple of things. First was how that fight started out. You could see the TPs on the opposite side, and really well played from Cozy and Strumpus to disengage that way there. They pulled out all of Dig Mig, and then the backline was suddenly exposed to the rest of Supernova coming into the backline. I just got a question, that showstopper coming through from Dragoon so late in that fight. I think if it had come through sooner, we get that huge suplex bomb that we saw the last time. The combination of showstopper and haymaker would have been enough to take people down. But at the end of the day there, again, it's still just stat checks. What we do learn from that is that Cal right now on this Kai'Sa is down a lot of gold, but still very effective in these fights. Almost killed Lynx, did shred through most of that line from Supernova there. So And for Supernova, we learned that if you can stop Dragoon, you stop the bulk of the damage pretty much there. So both the teams now, they kind of know what they need to do.
Well, Strumpus and Papa Chow looking to go in onto DNA. Nice usage of the chains to try and fear away Papa Chow. Gonna flash for the Winter's Bite, but doesn't look like he had any opportunity to get any sort of stun. So bit of a questionable play, but do try to take DNA out of that side lane.
Okay, Dragon coming up at 30 seconds here. You can see that Supernova is setting up, but Cozy getting beaten up again.
Oh yeah, has to use that kick. Gonna be so crucial in any sort of dragon fight. Maddie is trying to go in. 1v3 equalizer is gonna already be popped, and Maddie goes down before the fight even begins. Teleport in from DNA will barely save his life as Strampus was hitting away at him. And now it's a bit of a scary situation for Dignitas Mirage, but you still have the jungler dead on the other side. Dragon is on the table, but not sure if they're gonna be able to take it.
They got they got chunked at too low there. Dragoon doesn't have TP, so despite getting the kill for themselves, it is going to be Supernova picking up the second Drake of the game at 16 minutes. We're really letting the Dragons slide here in this game, but Herald, I mean, that's something that they're not really given too much up. First one got taken down almost as it spawned, and now second one once again going to the pockets of Dignitas Mirage.
Yep, and as we head into the later stages of the game, it's going to be that Dragon for Herald trade. It'll be interesting to see what they try to do here, but into the mid lane, we have it already popped. Fleeing away is Lynx. He'll get taken down, and now Papa Chow has to run, but 3 members of Dignitas Mirage will chase down the support, and unless we see a situation like in Game 1, he will probably die. DNA picks up the kill.
No. That's Light Pulse's theme there. I will survive. No, not Papa Chow. Papa Chow, you know, when he's caught, he's done. That's fine. Herald dropped immediately mid as well. And they might actually get 2 turrets off of this. TP coming in from Strampus, but it's kind of risky. Equalizer is up and available there, and okay, they aren't going to push it in.
Yep, unlike the last game, Rift Herald will not get that second proc into the inner turret. Instead, Dignitas Mirage know better and decide to back off, take their wins for what they're worth, and walk out of that fight with 800 gold lead.
Okay, Grapes. Lots of action recently. Let's take quick stock of this as, you know, we head towards... well, we're well into the mid-game portion right now. Dignitas Mirage, they've been... Never mind.
So you're not allowed to talk. What are you even thinking? Cal's going to get kicked back.
Right.
Cozy, beautiful insect from the top laner of Supernova, earning his place back into this game. And yeah, as I said, nice pick on the Cal.
Okay, I'm scared, Grapes. Am I allowed to talk now? Are they finally over?
I give you my play-by-play permission to speak on some of the macro portions of this game.
I'm so scared for the top lane fight about to break out, but for the most part right now, Dignitas Mirage have found a lot of their recent picks here off kind of mistakes from Supernova, just overextending, not respecting where members of the team can be. And it's not even a lack of vision. Like, they should have known Dragoon was in the area. They saw it and they just stuck around. So Supernova has to be a little bit careful about giving up these advantages. But that aside, when it's come to set up 4 objectives, when it has come to these bigger team fights, aside from that first big, you know, suplex bomb we saw from Dragoon, Supernova have managed to find their little advantages for the most part here. Can't fight this, right? Okay,
Double knockup, just appeal, I think. Yeah.
Okay. That is a big out down though, and that does mean that Dignitas Mirage on the back foot. So Supernova, they just need to play this nice and slow, methodical. You know, wait for these objectives, and if you are going to split push here, you do need a buddy system, and you do need to watch your teleport specifically because of the paranoia and the fact that Dragoon does have teleport available.
Talking about slowing things down, it looks like Strampus knows who his strongest threats are, picking up that Frozen Heart in that second item slot, going to try and slow down some of the attack speeds of the carries of Dignitas Mirage. And I really like that itemization. I feel like he has enough damage at this point, is going to be working towards that Archangel Staff at some point as well. And so making sure that he doesn't die is more important than making sure he one-shots people.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, I'm getting a bit worried for Lynx, because if everybody else is getting tanky right now, Ezreal can build a Frozen Heart as well, but generally you don't want to double stack on the Frozen Heart too much, especially for your 2 carries, and you don't have it now. So we talked about the fact, you know, you've got the Paranoia Killer Instinct combo coming through. We haven't seen it yet, but I think the moment they see Lynx at a numbers disadvantage, if they've got one more person in the area, they can just dive in, pop that Ezreal immediately, and then turn on whatever objective they want to go for, whether it be Dragon or probably not Baron yet, but maybe in another 5-10 minutes, you can turn for Baron as well.
Yeah, the game is still at a very close state. We're talking as if Supernova are ahead just because they've won the last couple of fights, but have to remember Gold literally sitting dead even, and Dignitas Mirage are actually the ones that are ahead in kills. So if a fight goes well, RMC, as you said, if Dragoon gets some of those ultimates, if the Paranoia works out well, and if Cal can get some big damage, things could definitely turn around just really fast.
Yeah. For now, though, Dignitas Mirage also not super comfortable picking their fight. You can see them playing slow. They knew where Strampus was, and they didn't initiate. They actually had vision on Cozy as well, and Yes, you've got Realm Warp, but for Strumpus right now, you don't have to teleport, and the range is still a little bit far.
Yeah, and right now, um, Chow is doing a bit of his famous solo invades to try and take out some vision. It works a little bit better when you have a couple of teammates by your side, which he did in this situation. But now it looks like the top lane will be the focus for Supernova. The lane that did not work so well for them to start things off, as Lynx is going to take down a DNA dangerously low. But here comes the reinforcements. The Equalizer will do a decent amount of damage. Here comes that Crescent Sweep. Nice dredge line from Light Pulse. A lot of stuns coming in from Dragoon as well. And it's so far a 2-for-1, but what can change now? We have Cyber dashing in with that overheat, but Dragoon will pick up Strumpus in return. He's now in the middle of 3 members of Supernova. Will try to use that Haymaker to do some damage, but a triple kill for Lynx will mean the ace for Supernova and the Baron once again.
This is why, Grapes, we were talking about Supernova as if they were winning it when they're even. Because in the team fights, they are winning it. And to be fair, that wasn't the clean team fight that Digmig wanted. Lynx going in so aggressively onto DNA there, forced out the Equalizer. The depth charge wasn't there to follow up, and Digmig's team fight just got completely split up. If that's the case, Supernova win that fight nice and easy. They didn't even need the Dragon's Rage, which came out at the end there from Cozy.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Supernova, once again, getting that better team fighting. And as we said a little bit towards the early game, towards some of the champion select periods, this team for Dignitas Mirage is very early game focused. You have to get a lot of these picks. You have to go really aggressive. And it seems like Supernova are the ones going aggressive, even with some of these scaling champions like the Rise and the Ezreal. And now with this soul point probably going to be taken by them, things are getting really scary really fast for Digmig.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess what Digmig's silver lining is they didn't have both Soul and that up, but DNA, you're dead.
Yep, 2 coming in with the Realm War. Strumpus does a whole lot of damage, and so does Cozy. It's going to dash in as well. The chains won't save DNA this time as he gets shut down.
Okay, so they're a man down. That's unfortunate. The good news, no TP. Realm Warp was used, but you can still set up a 4-1 push here and take the turrets. That's what they're doing. They're going to leave Strumpus bot side, everybody else siege mid, and you don't have good counter siege. You don't have good wave clear with these members. You have to burn Equalizer to clear a wave.
Yeah, and that is not something you want to do. Obviously, these team fight ultimates are going to be really crucial. Make sure that Digmig have a chance to stay alive in this game. And so right now, with all the waves pushing in, still a couple more minutes on this Baron power play. Dragoon's going to try to do some work on Strumpus, but it's going to get kicked away just like that. And that's kind of the story here for Supernova. Push, make sure that Dignitas don't get that wombo combo that they so desire. And if you do that for just a little bit more, you win the game.
One wave, Dweeps. That was all it took to distract them and to take down their mid inhibitor. They're forcing this here. It's really far out.
Lynx is being targeted here pretty heavily. Will get taken down, and now the question is, what can the rest of Supernova do? Dragoon is doing a whole lot of damage. Gonna use that Haymaker to take down Papa Chow, but the rest of Supernova are untouched. Maddie is huge. Strumpus is huge, and Cozy will stay alive in addition. An ace again for Supernova. They're marching straight down middle lane in the same amount of time it took to win game 1, and they will sweep Dignitas Mirage into 2-0.
Yeah, nice, easy, clean win from Supernova there. And the combo at the end there, that was what I've been calling from Digmig all game, right? We saw the paranoia, clear instinct. They found Lynx. Great, good. You took out the pea shooter that was annoying you guys with all the poke. You forgot the shotgun that was Strumpus, which showed up in that fight. And you could see, you're bunched up. Rise is more than happy. If you're all clustered, one shot takes all of you out right away. And when are people going to learn? You can't keep giving Strumpus Rise without a hard counter waiting in your pocket here. If you're going to give Supernova red side and you don't see that Rise coming out, you got to ban it or preemptively pick something that will do well into it.
Yeah. Well, Supernova definitely taking some revenge there. As we said earlier, Dig were the ones to knock him out of Proving Grounds last split. So taking that 2-0 definitely feels just a little bit better for Maddie and Strumpus as they pick up their first victory here in the Risen Champions League. And as you said in the earlier segment, RMC, that makes this group so much more interesting.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know who's winning right now in the AoE bowl that we've got going on. I believe it's the Risen stream here. But right now, after this game, Digmig, Supernova, both 1-1 here. AoE randoms, they're up a game. AoE down a game, but it's anybody's group to get out of. Things get real spicy. And I believe we got an update. AoE is up 1-0 over randoms right now. So if they win that, it could
4
be
teams at 1-1. In a
four-way
way,
tie.
it makes things a little bit more simple because then it just means whoever wins on Monday will make it through. But still, so much pressure riding on these two games, and it just shows how close this group is. And this is not something that we were necessarily expecting. Obviously, this all the groups in Challengers Uprising are rather, I'm sorry, in Risen are rather competitive, just considering the small number of teams that are here. But just yeah, wow, this group is going to be a one to watch.
Yeah, and I absolutely love it. Supernova will be running up against AOE Esports on Monday here on day 3, and they were in fine form today. Not only did they win the games, but they were kind of winning the lanes individually in most of the 1v1s. We won't talk about the hard counter matchups like Strumpus getting the rise into the Nocturne or Cozy, having to play into that set. But even when they had more even lanes, they played really, really well. And I think teams need to figure out a way to deal with Supernova. If you're going to play early, you absolutely need to punish early. Playing late game against Supernova, that feels like a bit of a weighted coin toss there. And I would say that it's weighted towards Supernova.
Yeah, and that's exactly what AoE Randoms managed to do in the last series that they had against Supernova. They picked some early game competitions, won both games in under 30 minutes, and that seems like where that team is a little bit weaker, where they tend to go for a lot of these fights, and the question is just whether or not they work out. So taking this 2-0 definitely is crucial for Supernova as they move forward, and especially considering that even in a group as close as this, the game score will mean a lot as well.
Yeah, and with that, congrats once again to Supernova to making things nice and spicy here. You got to go over and watch the game. And for Digmig as well, they've got to go over and watch because they're up against AoE Randoms as well. A loss here doesn't mean the end of things. And I think they performed really well yesterday. I think they performed pretty well today. And I'm looking forward to them performing next Monday.
Well, that is going to be it here on the Supernova Twitch stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to watch some Risen Esports with us. Make sure to tune into all of the other streams going on. I can't name them all because there's so many. RMC, anything?
Nope. I think Lena perchance usually has it on her Twitter, so you can
Yes, go
always go
check
there.
Lena.
Yeah, she'll have the full thing there. And yeah, thanks for coming by, watching. Thanks to all the players for the good games. And yeah, peace out, y'all.
Yeah, thank you so much, RMC. Thank you so much to our producer as well, behind the scenes, making us look good. And for that, that's going to be it for us. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.